Alright, so there's two ways to deploy a bottom bouncer. Either free spool it down till the weight hits bottom and you can see the little delay on your line counter, or use a depth chart for the weight you're using. So I'm going to drop it down first and then we'll see how close to bottom it's running. I'm going to set the speed at 1.0 and then we'll drop it down and raise it up from there to see what it does underwater. So I'll wait till we get to 1. Alright, so I'm going to free spool it until I see the line counter pause for a second, and that's how I know the weight's on bottom. Luckily the crawler harness should fall slower, so if you raise it up quickly, you'll be able to get it off bottom before it fouls. Right there. I'll raise it up. So in 14 feet free spooling, it took about 20. It's a 2-ounce weight. So dropping your weighted rig with your rod pointing up in the sky, especially if you're using planer boards, is a huge mistake. What's going to happen is you're going to hold the rod in your hand, rod pointing up. You're going to free spool till your weight hits bottom. And let's say you're in 14 feet of water and it hits bottom at 21. Well, you think that's your setback. You're going to attach your planer board at the top of your rod tip, and then when you go to let your planer board down, before it starts floating, you're going to introduce 10 more feet of line down to your setback. So your rig's going to be well below where you thought it was and probably running on bottom. So one way to fix that is to either put your rod tip in the water when you free spool the weight down, or guesstimate how much line there is from the surface of the water up to your rod tip and then reel that amount back up before attaching your planer board. If I drop it back, I can feel it hitting bottom. So I'm going to leave it at 21 where it hit bottom. Let's put it on a planer board and see what it does. You can see what's happening to it as I'm putting it on the planer board. So right there you can see the planer board up by my rod tip, and then you can see all the line going down from the clip to the surface of the water. That's how much line I wasn't planning on, and that's how much extra line I'm going to be putting in the water because I wasn't holding my rod tip in the water, or because that's how much line I didn't reel back up before I attached the planer board. The planer board should be getting attached right where the line enters the water. So let's see what happens when I lower the planer board down in the water. So here I'm letting it go back. Now if you just let it sink behind the boat on free spool, we'll see what happens on bottom. When it's actually moving forward and you set it out on a clicker, it's going to behave differently below the water. So that simple mistake, a little bit extra line, you're dragging bottom, you're fouled up, and you're wondering, man, the fish aren't biting, there's no walleye here. Well, really?